Hey guys, welcome back to Slow Travel Chronicles. My name is Stephanie and this is my husband Garrett. In today's video, we are going to tell you if we liked Vienna, Austria. Before we get into all of that, we're going to tell you why we went there, when we went there, who went there, some of the things that we did, our likes and dislikes of the city overall. So we went to Vienna in May and June of 2022. And we did that because we were in Scotland, which was a graduation trip with our daughter, and we decided to go to somewhere else in Europe. And
I thought we went to Vienna because we wanted to.
Well, we did, but we were in Scotland and we were picking where we were going after that. I just hadn't gotten there yet.
Okay.
But anyway, so she left Scotland. We went on to Vienna because it was on our list of top 10 places to go.
Yep.
So we ended up going there, and again, May and June. And we got there by plane from Edinburgh. I think we went through
Ryanair straight to Vienna.
Yeah, Ryanair. So it was easy peasy. We've heard complaints on Ryanair. We've flown it twice now, I think, maybe 3 times, and we have not had a problem yet.
Not once.
Not once. So we would still continue to fly there. And I have a list, so if you see me looking down, it's just so I don't forget. I liked Vienna. Did you like Vienna?
If you don't like Vienna, you got to screw loose.
Yeah. So some of the things that I liked about Vienna is I felt very, very safe there.
Oh, absolutely.
We could walk at night, anytime during the day. I never felt like I needed to look over my shoulder at all.
No, and we were not staying in the city center either. We stayed about 2 miles out near Prater, the amusement park, and even out in the suburbs, or I don't know if that's a suburban area, but it was super nice. City center was nice at night. Walking around, not a problem.
Yeah, and we really did have a great Airbnb there. And I really do think that your Airbnb kind of sets the tone for your stay. And we've learned that the more that we've traveled. So don't always go super cheap. Maybe spend just a little tiny bit more to have a nice Airbnb. In a later video, you'll see an Airbnb tour where we screwed up a little bit and also double check. So that's my tip, to double check your pictures of your Airbnb to make sure you're getting what you think you're getting, because that was a fun week, let me tell you. So check that out. That'll be the Salzburg Airbnb tour. That's coming out probably in 3 to 4 weeks. So check for that. Other thing that I liked about Vienna was that it was very walkable.
Yes. The streets were wide, the sidewalks were wide. The city center had a lot of areas blocked off. Very easy to get around. Again, we stayed about 2 miles outside the city center. Sometimes we walked down there and just had a long walk. Other times we hopped on the metro. But it was very nice and easy just to walk around. It's an enjoyable place to walk around.
Yes, and our Airbnb was pretty convenient to a metro stop, but one thing you should know about the metro system, we needed a month-long pass, but their passes don't carry from mid-May to mid-June. So we were there for a week, 10 days, and we did not buy a metro pass at that point. We waited till the beginning of June so that we had it for the full month.
Yeah.
It wasn't problematic. We had 3 grocery stores really close to us. We had anything we needed we could get to by walking.
You will have to, at some point, if you're in Vienna, learn to use the metro. I think most people that go to Europe, most travelers, are comfortable and familiar with using the metro. If not, there are, at least in Vienna, several of the big ticket places that you want to go visit that are several miles outside of town, and you'll have to learn. But it's really easy, it's very simple, it's a very good layout.
And it's not that expensive, but if you try to go Schönbrunn Palace, Schönbrunn Palace, I guess you could take a cab, but that would be
a long way.
A long way and very expensive, so I would not do that.
Yeah, there are a lot of art galleries, a lot of museums, a lot of monuments, the zoo, a couple different palace types. There's a lot to do there.
Yeah, the zoo there is my favorite zoo, and we go to pretty much every zoo that we can. We did not go to the one in Scotland just because my daughter was there and she didn't want to, so I'm going to have to go back just so we can go to the zoo. But the zoo is fabulous. It's actually the oldest zoo in the world, and I'll put a link to that video in the description box so you can check that out. It was definitely worth it.
I think at one point I made a list of the museums we went to and the museums we didn't go to. And the museums that we didn't go to list was a lot longer. They have a lot of museums. A lot.
Yeah, it was good. I also liked the fact that they had cheap beer. We also did a
Oh,
beer
yeah.
tasting
That's good.
series. You may want to check that. It's coupled with tours of various places, but you may want to check out some of those videos. The beer was super cheap.
Yeah, it was basically German and Austrian lagers in a can for like 80 cents a can. All good.
Yeah, the weather in the summer was mild, at least while we were there, but we did not have AC in our Airbnb. So
And most places there don't. And it gets hot probably in July and August. In May and June, it was perfectly tolerable. Whew, I wouldn't want to be there if it got really hot though.
yeah, so we kept our windows open at night. Our Airbnb, the only thing I can really fault it for is it didn't have like a oscillating fan. That would have been nice,
Yeah.
but
Anyway.
we survived. We have not been there in the winter, but I think the winter, based on what I looked up, what I Googled, would be similar to where we live in Memphis, Tennessee, so we could definitely, we would not have a problem with that. We did meet a couple once who lived in Houston formerly and had lived there maybe a year to 2 years, something like that. It hadn't been long, and they said that the rent was inexpensive
Yeah.
for what they paid for like a long-term rent. So that's, you know, what we've been told. We didn't experience it.
Yeah, keep in mind that they stayed out pretty far outside the city center. When we looked at Airbnbs, the ones that were kind of in or really close to city center were more than we wanted to pay. In fact, we saved more than enough money by going 2 miles outside the city center and buying Metro passes. And I think the Metro passes for the month might have been like $100 a piece or
Yeah,
something like that. So, you know, we saved a lot of money just getting outside the city center, and I think it was the best decision for us. Just the location was great.
It was quiet, even though we were right across the street from an amusement park. You
Yeah.
could not hear it.
It was quiet. There were a lot of restaurants. There were a lot of grocery stores. It was not in the tourist area. We didn't feel like when we went shopping we had to pay, you know, a tourist markup or anything. So it was really good.
Yeah. The other thing that we liked was the food.
Oh yeah.
It was really good. We went one day, and I did not record any video of this, but we went near a mall to an authentic Austrian restaurant, and we had the platter for two, and it was just huge. Pork chops, Wiener Schnitzel, sausage, chicken. I don't think there were any vegetables.
French fries.
Oh, French
no.
fries.
There was
That
no
was the vegetable.
There were no vegetables.
But it was delicious.
It was nothing fancy. I mean, it was basically your typical corner restaurant. But a lot of times what we'll do in cities, if we're out away from the city center, just get on TripAdvisor and poke around and look for reviews and see which restaurants the locals seem to like and hope they're right.
Yeah, most of the time we do a pretty good
Yeah.
job of that. So yeah, it was good. The food was good. There was a restaurant behind our apartment, and we would have the windows open at night, and it was a Serbian restaurant, and the smell of their food came in, and it was like our second to last day. We finally made it over there. It was
Yeah.
really good. That's pretty much all of my likes. Do you have anything that I missed, or
I don't
you'd like
think
to
so. Great metro system, great museums, great art galleries, a lot of stuff to do.
cheap beer?
Cheap beer, if you're there at the right time of year, great weather. Yeah, all around it's a very enjoyable place to go.
Oh, and they had good farmers markets too. I
Yeah.
did get that one that we went to. I spent like way too much money
Oh.
because I got suckered. There's a touristy one that you'll see if you're on TripAdvisor, top things to do. I don't remember the name of it. I'll put it in the screen. Don't go to that one. Look, you'll find a local one that's way cheaper, but the food was good there. We had venison sausage that was good. Now on to the dislikes.
You have a dislike?
I have two.
Okay.
Do you have any?
No.
Okay, well, I have two. We didn't connect with people. So we referenced earlier that we met a couple from Houston, but I like to talk, in lines and just chat with people. He doesn't do that, but I do, and I didn't know any German. I don't know any German. I could not do that. That's not like in Mexico. I couldn't do that either, but there were a lot of Americans or English speakers that I could chat with. We didn't run across that.
No, there were English speakers. It wasn't uncommon, but it just wasn't common. I'm not sure how to get the balance right.
Yeah.
But
And I wasn't in a position to be able to chat. So I like to be able to have people to talk to other than him because he is not a big talker. And
I would say I do get the impression that a lot of the folks over there know English. They may not want to speak it, but they do understand it. So keep that in mind. Don't insult somebody because they probably know what you're saying. But you know, we're foreigners, tourists, what have you. There's no reason for anybody, unless they're trying to sell us something, to start a conversation. And there were a lot of people selling things. So I didn't think that was a downside in the slightest.
my next thing is it's not close to a beach. And we live in Memphis.
Jesus, you knew that when we went there.
I did know that when we went there. So, but it's not. I like to go to the beach every so often. So, like, that wouldn't deter me from, like, going back or anything. He's laughing at me. But it's not near a beach. We live in Memphis. It's not near a beach either. But I can drive it to one in, like, 6 hours.
You probably can, too, if you're in a car.
Probably. Anyway, so that was my only other dislike. So if I had to rate Vienna versus Valencia, it's kind of tough for me to pick like which one I would like. So the next question is, would you go back to Vienna?
Well, I would, but it doesn't have a beach, so I guess we never will.
No, we might because we weren't there to see the Christmas markets.
No.
So that might
That would
be
be
on,
nice.
that would be on our list. Now the last question is, would you move there? So let me preface that by saying we are currently not looking to move outside of the U.S. We're semi-nomadic, if you're not aware, and we maintain a base in Memphis, Tennessee. We are not out scouting a place to live. That, you know, that's not to say if we stumble across someplace so great that we wouldn't consider it, but is that someplace that like draws you that says, would you move there?
No,
Or
it doesn't have a beach.
yeah, that's a good point.
No, I
He's
would
such
not
a
move.
smart aleck. Anyway, but I could see if I was trying to move outside of the U.S., I could see myself actually living there.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No.
Okay.
It's just nothing against it. I really liked visiting there, but it's larger than I'd like to be for a city. And we've been to several places that I like better. So if somebody told me, you're moving to Vienna, I'd be like, great, that's cool. I'd like it. It would be a lot of fun. If somebody said you get to pick a place, I wouldn't pick it. I like it.
I liked it. I could see myself living there. I actually like the bigger cities with things to do. So
Okay.
he could go move to his town, I could move to my town, and we can visit on the weekends or something.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, do you have anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
Anyway, so come back next Thursday, check out our newest video, which will be an intro to Hallstatt, Austria, which is where we headed to after we left Vienna on our way to Salzburg. We like that town too. I'll tell you more about it in the video. We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.